Hello, if you're watching us right now, you likely have a passion for great stories. There's truly no better story than one that's based on actual events. Today, we're going to tell you about the fate of one of the most remarkable boxers of our era, a story that filmmakers have transformed into a breathtaking biopic. The tale begins with Iron Mike sitting all by himself in the dock. It's the year 2001, but we'll get to that part soon enough. Let's start by returning to his early years. When Tyson was a young boy, he associated with the wrong crowd. These individuals pushed him towards committing armed robberies and theft. Life at home was far from ideal as well. The children rarely saw their mother, and Mike found solace only with his cherished pigeons in their cage. However, this happiness was short-lived. Eventually, the boy was sent to a special school designated for juvenile delinquents in New York State. A few years go by. Teddy Atlas, a young trainer, requests his mentor, the legendary Cus D'Amato, to attend a boxing match at the Catskill City Club. The older trainer hears that the fighter is a troubled teen. This young man, Tyson, has been arrested more than 40 times. In the training room, Cus observes young Tyson sparring with an experienced boxer. He is truly impressed by the athlete's strength, despite the boy having absolutely no style at all. Cus chooses to overlook the young man's complicated past and decides to take him under his care. Mike moves into the home of Cus and his partner Camille. Each day, the boy wakes up before dawn, goes for a jog, and then heads to training at the boxing club. In the evenings, his mentor shows him the fights of famous boxers like Rocky Marciano and Joey Lewis, teaching him all the technical skills. Knowledge that he has gathered and accumulated over the years. A few months go by in this manner. Then, suddenly, Mike receives shocking news: his mother has passed away. Tyson travels to his home borough of Brooklyn for her funeral. However, he doesn't remain there for long in 2001. He returns to Catskill, brings his beloved pigeons along, and continues his training under the strict and watchful supervision of Cus. He prepares the young boy to become a champion and to win the very first Junior Olympics of his life. As a good luck charm, he gives him a pendant once given to him by Muhammad Ali himself. The day of the competition in 1982 has arrived. In the locker room before the fight, Mike has a panic attack. He is convinced he will lose in the first round, but Coach Teddy reminds him to turn his fear into fire and that there's no one like him at the Olympics. This motivates Tyson, and the Dynamite Kid steps into the ring. Teddy quickly contacts Cus, informing him that Mike has knocked out his opponents in an astonishingly short time of just 8 seconds. When the boxer returns home with an Olympic medal, his mentor surprisingly offers to adopt him as his and Camille's son. Mike joyfully accepts and can scarcely believe his good fortune. Cus soon introduces his newly adopted son to two accomplished managers, Bill Clayton and Jimmy Jacobs. The elderly gentleman assures that they will eventually become the boxer's closest allies and help him stay out of any trouble. For instance, one evening, he is driving through the city at night alongside a friend from his neighborhood. The boxer is enthusiastically discussing his achievements, but his friend simply laughs it off. He firmly believes that a group of white managers is merely attempting to cheat Tyson, and that all their assurances hold no real value. Mike gets out of the car, chases a couple of girls, and when they vanish around the corner, he dashes into a small store and causes chaos. The following day, Mike doesn't appear for practice. Teddy argues with Cus, insisting that Tyson has a significant discipline issue and demands he be treated the same as any other athlete. However, Cus is convinced that he knows best how to train a true champion and disregards Teddy's advice. But then comes the news that truly sends the young trainer into an uncontrollable rage. It's the year 2001. Mike has attempted to seduce his little sister. He waits for Tyson outside his house, firmly forbidding him from approaching his family ever again. Mike laughs, replying that such threats don't intimidate him at all. Then Teddy fires a shot into a tree, right past Tyson's ear. Cus finds out about this incident, and the next morning, he is dismissed from his position. Under the guidance of his new trainer, Kevin Rooney, Mike continues to win one fight after another. After every victory, journalists eagerly seek interviews, and newspapers closely track his ongoing success. Meanwhile, Cass's health starts to decline significantly. One day, he coughs so severely that he can't reach the end of the fight and ends up hospitalized. Mike arrives at the clinic right after the fight and finds his mentor on the brink of death. Following his mentor's passing, Mike appears to lose all enthusiasm for training and life itself for a period. He even lets go of his pigeons, which once held a special place in his heart. When Jimmy attempts to reignite Tyson's passion for boxing, Mike ignores the screen and breaks down in tears, mourning the loss of his dear friend and foster father, Cus. Jimmy reassures him by letting him know that he is prepared to step in and take the place of Mike's most cherished mentor. The year is 1986, and Tyson is up against a formidable opponent, Trevor Berwick. Mike strikes his opponent with deadly power, knocking him down twice, yet he somehow manages to rise again. The third knockdown, however, is the final one for Berwick. He struggles to his feet, staggering significantly, and the referee ultimately calls an end to the fight. At the age of 20, Mike achieves the remarkable feat of becoming the youngest heavyweight champion in history. During a televised speech, the champion dedicates his impressive triumph to his beloved mentor, Cus. Over time, Mike's personality becomes more and more unbearable. He now refuses to watch other fighters' matches, insists on having special meals, and is consistently rude to all the members of his team. The only exception is Jimmy, with whom he shares the exciting news that he has met the most beautiful and intelligent girl he has ever known, a certain Robin. When he finds out that they met on a television show, the mentor bursts into laughter and can't stop for quite a while. Tyson, however, is determined to have his way. So that same evening, he manages to get Robin Givens' phone number and gives her a call at her home. Robin is quite flattered that a sportsman of such fame is interested in her, and she agrees to meet with him. By the time the boxer steps into the ring to face Tony Tucker, Robin and her mother are already seated in the front row, eagerly watching, and Iron Mike watches with great intensity. During the fight, his opponent achieves the unbelievable. In the first round, he lands an uppercut on Tyson's chin. Mike is on the defensive constantly and is boxing worse than he usually does. During the break, Kevin tells his mentee that Robin only loves him when he is a champion, which makes Mike furious. He then storms his opponent for several rounds consecutively, and in the 10th round, he finally wins, becoming the undisputed heavyweight champion. After a while, Mike gets married to Robin. As his wife enthusiastically talks to the reporters outside the registry office, he calls his adoptive mother, Camille, to share the good news. All of a sudden, she begins to cry. Mike apologizes for keeping the wedding a secret, explaining that Robin is 3 months pregnant. However, it quickly becomes clear that Camille's tears are for another reason. Jimmy has passed away due to leukemia. Mike makes his way to California in order to attend the funeral of his second mentor. Upon arrival, he is met by the well-known promoter Don King, who starts asking Tyson some provocative questions, like if he trusts his manager Bill Clayton. King proposes to the boxer 5 straightforward fights with a payout of $5 million each, and Tyson responds that he'll consider it. In the graveyard, Bill inquires what King wanted from Mike. The boxer shares his offer with him, but omits saying he promised to consider it. After a little while, he suddenly runs away and takes cover behind a gravestone. As Kevin comes near, Tyson admits he's exhausted from all the sorrow. He also senses that the money is negatively affecting his relationships with others. Meanwhile, a television broadcast tells a story about Mike and Robin, who are now residing in a mansion worth $1 million. In this account, the boxer's wife shares how Mike's manager, Bill, attempted to ruin her wedding and deceive her family. Don King supports these allegations in his public statements and eventually signs a contract with Mike. Meanwhile, the astute promoter secretly suggests that Robin isn't even 5 months pregnant and claims that her modeling career is nothing but a complete sham. Tyson has a crucial match against Spinks. Oddly, Mike has been delaying his preparation, staying away from the gym for weeks. One day, he shows up at the club, spars half-heartedly, and exits the ring soon after. King yells at him, claiming he's utterly unready for the fight. Just then, Tyson's friend urges the trainer to show compassion, explaining that Robin recently suffered a miscarriage. Kevin, however, openly declares that Miss Tyson's pregnancy was fake, and everyone is aware of it. Mike becomes enraged and quietly steps back into the ring. He dares local athletes to a fight, wagering they can knock her out in 10 seconds. Knockout. When he doesn't meet this target, the boxer proceeds to beat them nearly senseless one by one. In the year 1988, Tyson enters the ring to face the technically proficient boxer Spinks, who stands a strong chance of defeating the still undefeated champion. Before the match, Robin gives King some documents, which are delivered to Billy shortly after. The manager reads them and finds out he's been fired. The fight starts, and Tyson quickly launches a fierce attack. His opponent withstands for a bit but starts losing coordination. Spinks drops to his knees, gets up, but soon falls on his back, unconscious. Lying down. Mike and Robin are being interviewed by a major TV station in their home. Initially, everything seems to be going smoothly, but then the journalist questions Miss Tyson about how her life has changed since Tyson's success. All of a sudden, she starts to reveal that her entire life has been a living hell due to her husband's manic depressive psychosis. In 2001, she claims to love him for his gentler side, yet she cannot envision a future together unless Mike seeks psychological help. Several hours later, police arrive at the Tyson mansion. The boxer's screams are audible from the street. Robin runs out with her mother, shouting that the police took too long. She insists Mike could have killed her. The boxer emerges at the door, cursing at his wife, mother-in-law, and the officers, then drives away. On television, Robin explains that her husband has threatened to kill her, that he has been physically abusive, that he drinks constantly, and that she feels she has no other option but to file for divorce. Tyson watches this show in the office of King while making preparations for his upcoming fight against Buster Douglas. During the conversation, it is revealed that Kevin has been fired by his promoter. In 1990, Tyson arrives in Tokyo for a fight. The bet is, and everyone believes Iron Mike will win. On the eve of the fight, he drinks and has fun with an unknown woman in a hotel room. From the start, it's clear he's in bad shape. By the 2001, the boxer keeps taking punches, losing balance, and making mistakes. At the end of the 8th round, Tyson finally manages to knock Douglas down. Nevertheless, he somehow manages to stand up. King is absolutely outraged and shouts loudly that the referee began the count way too late and that Mike's opponent was down for at least 15 seconds. Tyson's eye is swollen badly, but unfortunately, the first aid kit is empty. The team just didn't consider the possibility that he would actually need it. Mike misses more and more punches with every round, and by the start of the 10th round, he is barely managing to stay on his feet. He attempts to attack, but he's struck in the face, losing his coordination and going down. Unfortunately, he doesn't manage to get up in time. Following his defeat, Mike makes his way back to Catskill to meet with Camille, and also to visit the local boxing club. Shortly after, he travels to Indianapolis to participate in the Black America beauty pageant. The presence of the renowned boxer creates quite a commotion among the contestants of the show. They invite him onto the stage, and it is there that Mike has the chance to meet one of the models, Desiree Washington. Later that evening, the boxer decides to call the woman's apartment to extend an invitation to a party. At first, she hesitates, mentioning the late hour, but then she offers to meet up the following day. Tyson responds by saying that he will be leaving tomorrow, so Desiree eventually goes downstairs and gets into Mike's limousine. They share a kiss, and he mentions needing to pick up his bodyguard before heading to the hotel. Once Tyson and Desiree reach the hotel, the boxer leads her to his room. He claims they will just step in for a brief moment, yet he closes the door behind them. What truly transpired remains unclear, But shortly after, accusations arise.